Hey guys, I hope we're doing good and I hope we're doing alright. I want to talk to you and talk to us for a bit today and honestly do like a little mini series where I do like 6, 7 or maybe 8 episodes, I forget how much I planned, about something which I call the transformation as a dyslexic transformation or a dyslexic breakthrough. And I want to talk about these things, to talk about different elements. Because guess what? There's a science of transformation. There's a science that because the human mind and the human bodies are sort of like wired in a certain way. When someone has a breakthrough, which means like a breakthrough means it's a breakthrough. All it means is a moment in time. A breakthrough means it's a moment in time where the impossible becomes possible. Moment in time where, for example, you can't read and now you can read. Now you can read. Your person that's unconfident to, oh look, you can actually be a confident person. To have someone with very low self-esteem to actually being able to like feel like you're valued and feel like you're worth something. You make an impact. But the impossible becomes possible, and that's what's like having a breakthrough. That's like having a transformation. I'll do like a little mini series here, kind of talk about the fundamentals. What does it take to do that? What does it take to do something you've never done before, to be able to be this sort of person you've never been before, to believe in yourself, something that you would never ever believe before? For example, if you always believe that you're dumb, always believe that you can't do something, always believe that you'll be a certain person acting in a certain way, then if you believe that, always you'll be a certain person acting in a certain way, you can actually get out of that trap. Out of that trap of believing that you may be dumb, maybe stupid, maybe this sort of person that has low self-esteem, that believes they're not important, that believes that, you know what I mean, that like not really don't go and be valuable in their job or valuable in this. And I know how that feels. I know how that feels when you walk in school and to be honest, you feel hopeless. You feel like there's nothing you can do, and people laugh at you, and people make fun at you, and you feel useless when you get lost in school and feel embarrassed because people know that you don't have a clue what you're doing. Then then it doesn't make you feel good. Then you think like there's no this is the only way. I don't know any other solution, and you want to find things, but nothing really seems to work. I've been there. But in order to like have an actual transformation where you reach the upper limits of your potential, then once you do that, then everything will seem so much more better and have such a big quality of life. Because let me be 100% honest to you before we basically go into the strategies of this. I want to be 100% honest that where you are where you are right now in your life, aren't you? You're living in a certain place right now, aren't you? For example, you're as happy as you are now. You have your own opinion of yourself. For example, I'm this sort of a person that is good at this, that's confident in this. You have a certain self-esteem, how much you value yourself, how much impact you think you're having. You have your own idea on what your potential is, of what you can do or what you can't do. You have all these things happening for you right now. But let me tell you something. This is 100% malleable and changeable. If you have low self-esteem, low confidence, if you don't feel like you can improve, all of that is an opinion about yourself. And opinions are very weak, that they aren't true. Opinions are not true. Oftentimes it's a feeling that we give out to the world, and yes, because of our past, yes, because of the things that we'll go through this, but yes, because of this. But what we have to understand is that, look, it's possible for us to feel like this confident person over here. It's possible for us to have so much self-esteem and also self-belief that we can do anything. It's possible for us to believe in ourselves, to go for that job, to go for that race, to finish this course. It's 100% possible. And once you intellectually understand it, and then we can start basically doing the fundamental steps to do that. So it's 100% possible. And I want you to not be chained by the limitations that dyslexia have on us. Because there's two worlds here. There's two worlds here. One world is the emotional world of dyslexia. That's how it emotionally affects you. About the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs you have about yourself or about your dyslexia, how it emotionally affects you. And these things we are not born with. These things we develop over time. Okay, because you develop them over time, we can change them. And then there's the other side. That's what I call the physical side of dyslexia. These are the things that we cannot change. Like, we can improve upon them, but for example, we're born with them. We can't help it. We can't transformation it. We can better at reading, better at writing, better at doing things in a certain way because we change our strategy. But we cannot fundamentally change who we are. Does that make sense? But we are not the person who's shy, who's unconfident, who's can't do these activities. We are not this person. We are the person that finds certain things hard and our brain is wired a different way, but not the person who's limited in these areas. For example, unconfident, shy, all these sort of things. So let's get to it. So a transformation is a moment in time where the impossible becomes possible. Okay, so we understand that. But how do you have a transformation? In human, there's 3 elements to a transformation. You can have any one of these elements to have a transformation. You can have any one, but if you have all 3, you have an instant transformation. It'll be so impactful. Before I begin and go on my little rants, I have to say I learned basically all of this stuff from a person called Tony Robbins. If you haven't heard of him, start listening to him and start watching him. And don't look at all the motivational stuff he says. Look at the strategies behind it because they're so right. And it's basically how life works, okay? So, the science of a transformation, there's 3 fundamental elements. These are kind of like, how does a transformation happen? How does a breakthrough happen in a person? 3 elements. And I'm going to go through this order in basically what's the least important first, but it's what most people focus to. Okay, what most people go towards. If you want to improve some area, they go to this step, but it's not the most important. Not saying it's not important, it's absolutely critical, but it's not the most important, okay? This area, the most least important, is strategy. The strategy for doing something. For example, I struggle with my reading. Okay, let's find a strategy for me learning to read. Let's get a dyslexic course. Let's get a dyslexic tutor. Let's look for a different strategy for learning. It's where everyone focuses on. Everyone focuses on the strategy for learning. And of course, this is incredibly important because it can save decades into days. For example, if someone who's had dyslexia for 20, 30 years of their life, being educated, educating other people with dyslexia for 20, 30 years, and then found this method that's so much more effective than all the other stuff they've tried, then guess what? It's useful for you to try this method. That's why things like Autumn Gillingham have posted. That's why things like the Davis method, things like the universal reading methods, all out there because they can compress decades into days. What we spent decades of years learning and developing and be able to teach that to you and for you to apply it in a matter of days or in a matter of 2.5 hours for you to learn how to read. It's like the universal reading method does. Okay, so there's these strategies that's incredibly important, but it's not the most important thing. Not the most important. Because, for example, we can have the best strategy for something and then not apply it. For example, there's an area of life that's one of the most important areas of life. And all the information that you need to know is out there. And you can learn it within a couple clicks of a button and a little bit of effort. You can learn the exact strategy for you, the fundamental strategy for you to be able to have this critical area, critical part of your life at such high level. And it's so important. But yet, very, very few people do. The majority of people ignore the most important area of your life. You want to know what it is? Health, fitness. Most of England, most of American people are overweight. They are overweight. Lots of people are obese. And it's not because the strategy for learning and getting fit is so complex that you can't understand it. No, it's so easy to find the strategy. It's so easy to know how to do it. But it's not the strategy that's the reason why they don't do it. It's because the 2 other things I'm going to talk about. And these 2 other things are so critically important. That's why I wrote my first book, Conqeuing Dyslexia. That's why I'm writing my second book. Okay? Because all the help when we talk about dyslexia, our dyslexic help, is always focused on the strategy. But the strategy isn't the most important thing. The other 2 elements are way much more important than the strategy, okay? And now this is the second tier in the ladder. The second tier is what Tony Robbins says, stories. The stories you tell ourselves about why we can't have what you want are the reason we aren't having it. For example, the story you tell yourself about why you can't improve is the reason why you're not improving. The story you tell yourself about why you are unconfident are the reason you're unconfident. The story you tell yourself about why you can't pass that test is the reason why you can't pass that test. For example, if you always go around saying, I'm unconfident, always go around saying, I'm not smart, always go around telling yourself a story that I can't do this, then you won't be able to. Because you tell that thing, you say that to yourself over and over again, and it becomes real in your head. What Tony Robbins says, so true. Divorce the story and marry the truth of your limitless capacity. Okay? It's so true and so fundamental. So, what a story is, all a story, a belief, and a label are all the same thing. Story, belief, label, all the same thing. All it is a feeling of certainty about something. Now, here's something that can blow your mind. Dyslexia is a label. It's a belief that we have, and we put meaning towards that. Okay, it's quite interesting to think about that, but I'm not going to go into that in detail. But a story, we have stories, beliefs, and labels, all the same thing, just different words. They're a feeling of certainty about something. And if you believe you can, if you believe you can't, you're both right. And the reason why we have certain negative beliefs is because we have bad past experiences. And I know I've talked about this before, so I don't want to go over it. But we have all these beliefs, we have all these stories we tell ourselves that they come from the past. We have to try to get rid of them, okay? So that's the second level, okay? Having a breakthrough. The first one, having the right strategy. The third one, having the right strategy. The second one is telling yourself the right story. Saying, I can learn this. My dyslexia does not stop me, okay? And the third and the final one, the final tier, the most valuable thing to have a breakthrough, the thing that has the most leverage to have the breakthrough is so incredibly powerful. And it's what you're experiencing right now as you speak, as what I'm experiencing right now. Okay? But we don't really talk about it. And basically what it is, there's a word called state. The word called state, which basically means how you are feeling right now. Now, we don't really talk about this or discuss this a lot compared to the fact that we discuss self-esteem or discuss like the strategy of learning. But state about how you are feeling right now is so critical to about the results you are having right now. Isn't that right? Because, for example, there's times that you feel that, if you call yourself an unconfident person, I guarantee there are times that you felt so confident. I guarantee there are times that you feel like on top of the moon. You feel like you can do anything, isn't there? Of course there is. Everyone has times where they feel so confident. And because we felt something then, we can feel it now. Because think about this, like everything's biochemical, isn't it? Like think about this in our body. Like we have certain feelings, but the feelings are all biochemical based. You know what I mean? There's drugs and things like that happen in our brain that makes us feel a certain way, okay? So it's all biochemical based. But we have feedback from our environment that makes us feel a certain way. For example, we had certain feedback from our environment come in, and then we turn it into something that makes us feel so confident in that moment. Okay, and then, for example, we just have to send those same like feedback stuff into ourselves to make us feel confident in different situations. I know this is a bit complex. Sorry about this, guys. But if you think about this, like the biofeedback, like think about, like imagine, like think about. This is the thing that Tony Robbins says, quite funny. I'm trying to say it here, but basically, like for example, if you like imagine someone with like a guy or a girl that's so attractive, like you still, they're so good looking, and I want you to imagine yourself kissing them, kissing that person on the lips, okay, or wherever, and imagine how that would make you feel, that feeling, that emotional response that would happen in your body, or them kissing you, whatever scenario you have in your head. Okay, that's a certain feeling in your body, but now imagine. Okay, are you saying that it's that physical sensation that made you feel these emotions? I think, well, yeah. But I'm here to tell you it's not. Because if that word's true, saying kissing this person would make you feel all these emotions, then kissing your dog would make you feel the same emotions. It doesn't. Why doesn't it? Because of the meaning you give the facts, or the meaning you give these sort of stimulated things. Because like the reason I remember with myself, I felt confident all the time when I was like at home with the people I grew up with, because there's no reason for me not to be confident. But as in school, I wasn't confident. It's because of the meaning I gave the situations. But guys, I went on a bit off track here, but I want to go into what control state. State's so important because once you be able to control state, you can control how you act in every single situation. Okay, so there's 3 fundamental things to state, and basically how you're feeling right now is determinant of these three factors. Okay, and I'm going to say what's most important first, and that can change instantly. Then I'll go through the order. Okay, the first thing that's most important in affecting how you feel is something called physiology, and all this means is how you are moving your body. How you are moving your body. That's all it means. Physiology. For example, I'm talking now, I'm moving my hands, I'm doing gestures, I'm doing face expressions. Right now, I'm feeling very energetic. Half an hour ago, I did not feel very energetic. Why? I had my body like this. I was looking down, I was scrolling through my phone. Even now, I can feel it. When I'm relaxed, when I'm breathing shallow, when I'm doing these things, I have low energy. But when I move, when I open my eyes more, when I do more actions, I have more energy. Same thing if you want to be confident, stand in a confident way. Same thing if you want to be sad, stand in a sad, timid way. Same thing if you want to be happy, smile. Change your body, then your emotions will follow. It's so powerful. But guys, this is what thing I did. I remember walking up to my school when I feel so nervous every single day, really moving my body in a confident way. It's like, come on, Theo. And I do these little gestures, and sometimes I'd stand in the toilet with my shoulders back. Such a big change. Why is that? Because the way you move your body is how how your body responds to it. Because guess what? If you have your shoulders slumped, looking down, breathing shallow, you will feel sad and maybe depressed or maybe some other negative emotions, because that's how you're moving your body. But if you smile, have your hands to your side and move your shoulders back and breathe fully, you would feel happy and confident. That's what I used to do when I go into the school and help basically the people that had really low confidence or couldn't speak. I get a lot of them in the room and make them basically this is called a superhero walk, and walking with your cape on your back and having this and doing these fun energetic things, and in a matter of weeks they'd have a transformation in the confidence they had. The only difference is how they moved their body. That's the first thing, physiology. There's another thing that we use, focus. What we focus on, we feel. What we focus on, we get. If we focus on the negative stuff that happened or the negative things that we went through, we would feel that way. But if you focus on all the reasons to be positive about what we want, we'd end up feeling like that. For example, I'd always focus on exactly how confident I wanted to be. I want to be this person that's really confident, person that could storm into class, that could do these things and say what he wanted and make other people laugh. That's what I was focusing on obsessively, so that's who I became. Does that make sense? Whatever we focus on, we get. And the third thing is language. The words we use dictate how we feel. For example, there's a difference, for example, there's a difference between, I had all these things that basically, I had these things when I'm talking to people, and I would say, okay, we schedule this at this time, and I call them up, and they have a nice chat, and they realize, oh, I didn't know that's what you mean. I could think one thing. I could think that, this person's lying, or I could think, we just had a bad communication. If I say that this person's lying, how do you think that makes me feel? That makes me feel pretty rubbish and bad about this person. Or if I say that we just had a bad communication, they'll be like, we had a bad communication, let's move on. Same situation, different language, saying, he stabbed me in the back. Compare that to saying we had we had different opinions. Different things. Like the same situation, different words, different emotional response. So how I like to talk about this, talk about language, is the questions we ask ourselves. So powerful. The questions we ask ourselves about how can we be happy? How can we do this? How can we find a solution? They affect how we feel so much. So guys, I know I've talked to you a lot during this about how to have a breakthrough as a dyslexic, how to have a transformation as a dyslexic person. But here's the universal rules about how does human beings do it. And once you understand how we are human, but once you understand how human beings do it, we can start to really realize, okay, this is how human beings do it, and how can we language that in a way that works for us. Same principles, just in a different way. Guys, I hope you enjoy it and take care. Farewell and bye.